Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we're gonna go over wrestling cliches or pet peeves, depending on if you didn't like them, and kind of put them into the scene. This is very funny, meh, annoying, very annoying. Um, I guess also, funny could also be enjoyable because, like, I guess some of this stuff isn't really like funny, but it is enjoyable. So we'll just jump into it. So appearing mid-match, I'm assuming it's just like when somebody comes in to interrupt somebody. I guess if it's done correctly, it's not that bad. I'm gonna put it in the middle because I'm not exactly sure what they mean by mid-match. Maybe I'm missing that one. A lot of the other ones I saw, so I didn't or like was reading through just for a second. Um, we'll put it there. Big man slapping meat. Honestly, that's like pretty fun to watch because it's just like big guys, and I'm kind of on the bigger side, so it gives me hope. If I ever wanted to be a wrestler, I could do something. I'm not like the big man slapping meat, but I'm on the bigger than the skinnier guys, so you know that could be gives me hope. Next up is breaking kayfabe. I actually don't mind this as much. I feel like there's definitely a limit to it, but I don't think it's the worst thing to do. And in the right time, it could really help the promo out. So I think it's fun slash enjoyable. I don't think it's the worst thing ever. Catchphrases. Honestly, I think they're pretty good. I know there is some very annoying ones, so I'm gonna probably just put it in the fun category because like I everybody likes the yeah, the what the Stone Cold Steve Austin used to have, and there's still a lot, but there is a lot that are just awful, and so I'll put it in the. I wouldn't want to put it very fun because I know there is a lot of bad ones. Um, celebrity matches. Celebrity matches are fine for the most part. I feel like some of them are way better than others, but I think they still have a place in wrestling, and they can like this one that they're even showing with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest last year was amazing. Obviously, Logan Paul kind of started off with that being kind of a celebrity match, and I think he's shown that his worth. So I would put them in fun because some of them could be really stupid, but I feel like overall they're pretty solid. The cheap pop. I don't think I care too much about that either way. I mean, it's just like you got to generate it somehow sometimes, and some people just can't, get under people's skins or other stuff like that. But I think the cheap pop works. Next up is cheating to win. I guess in certain ways, like I think like how Eddie Guerrero did it, like with the fake chair toss and certain stuff like that. That's pretty funny. I think overall though, I kind of hate it when it's just like some dumb stuff, like even like distractions and stuff like that. I think it's, God, I'd have to probably put it in meh, because like sometimes it's just not needed. Like a lot of like Roman's end of his reign, like Roman was so good, he just didn't need it all the time, and I think that would have been very beneficial if he would have just had a good clean win versus somebody, um, just anybody. It could have been an easy to squash, like not even a squash match, but like just where he just beats somebody and they don't have to worry about it. I don't know. I guess that's what it is. The climbing the ladder slowly. I hated that. That was always so annoying. I know why they do it, and I guess it would. I would probably climb it a little bit slower than some people, but I think overall it was kind of annoying. The comeback, I'm assuming it's like coming back after a long period of time. I actually really like when people come back. It has to be the right person and the right time. Like when CM Punk came back, that was amazing. Even The Rock when he showed up and attacked Jinder Mahal, that was amazing because of the whole like, oh, it's a former world champ, and then we got Jinder, and everybody was like, oh my god, so stuff like that. I think that was good. Comedy segments. I think R Truth in general, if it's just R Truth, is S tier. In general, though, I think most comedy segments are pretty decent. I'm gonna go in funny. I think there is sometimes where it's not the greatest, but I think in generally speaking, it's pretty good. Contract song signings go wrong. I don't know. It's annoying. I don't know what's the contract signing really to do. I feel like it's good. It's definitely good to have them, but like I just don't. It, it's just it's not needed. Like I rather them have some other type of conflict, like I don't know, and I can't think of it. So I guess it might mean that contract signings are not that bad. Crash TV, which is kind of like I think like kind of Jerry Springer type stuff, where it's like kind of kind of like stuff like that, like that is kind of like drama. Uh, I don't I don't think it's like either way. I don't think it's really much of the time that I watch wrestling, so I can't really judge too much on it. But I think I'll go meh. cringe promos. I guess it's just depending on what you talk about that's cringe, you know, because it's like some promos are per se cringe. Like I would say, like what The Rock and Cody's after him winning the championship was pretty cringe. I'll go meh because it's like I don't know what ends up being cringe compared to a regular promo. It just is kind of your own personal feeling. Same thing with the cringe segments. I think it's kind of like that. Like it's just kind of based off of whatever the segment is, and instead of like an overall, thing. I guess. Crowd rebellion, where like the crowd's against whoever they're trying to show off. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think like in Roman's case, like even with the showing, I think it eventually led to something great. So I'll put it in the middle because I don't think it necessarily is good or bad, but I think it's definitely something that is needed overall for some character development. Custom entrances are pretty fun. I mean, like for WrestleMania especially, they have some really cool ones, and I think even if they're not the greatest, they're still better than the average fan. Even this one with Dom coming down was really good. The double heel turn or the double turn. Um, I'm trying to think like the double turn can go pretty well. I'm gonna put it in fun and enjoyable because it's like it is fun to see it. The dumb refs where they don't see anything is always annoying. There's just so much better ways to do it. Like even just have the person distracting the ref is better than just the ref not looking behind him and then seeing a guy laid out and it's just what really? Even up the odds in a brawl, I think is pretty fun. Like because you want to see who's coming in with the save most of the time. A face turn, I don't know. Face turns like are not as exciting as heel turns, so I'm gonna probably put that in fun because it's still cool to see people switch their whole personality, but it's not always the coolest thing. Factions holding all gold is actually really good. I like that. The Judgment Day is probably the most recent one that did it. I liked it. I think it really shows dominance in it, and I think we could have had that with damage control with kind of being similar, but like there wasn't really much else they could do. Like they kind of held gold, but they were still not all their members, but still pretty good. The failed Money in the Bank cash-ins, I think they could be fun. I didn't like Damien's because it took quite a long time for him to cash in, but I think the end result made it worth it. So a failed Money in Bank, you have to have some failed ones in between having the ones that are successful because then there's that possibility that there's some way. This one in particular with Austin Theory getting punched was dumb. That was really dumb. So that would go way lower. But if in general failed cash in. Family feuds are great. My favorite is Undertaker and Kane because I didn't know they weren't actually brothers when I was a kid, and it was crazy that they were brothers fighting. Jimmy and Jay's one is really amazing, except for the WrestleMania match. So I'll put it up at the top. Fan interaction. I guess it depends on what type of interaction they're talking about. Like if you walk up to a fan and kind of yell at them, I think that's like it's pretty cool. But like if they're in any other thing, it's just kind of meh. Heel commentators, I guess it really depends on what type of fan. Because like some of them can be very annoying. Like I think Michael Cole used to be very annoying. I like him now, but I didn't like him back in the day. Sometimes just like having a commentator that's so heavily in one person's corner is also kind of annoying. Um, because I feel like you can have like two separate personalities, is it? But you don't have to be like so up somebody's ass with it. The heel turn is always amazing. It's not always executed perfectly, but it is a fun thing to watch because especially with somebody who's been a babyface for a long time and changes. The home time hero, I don't. I think it's for pop and stuff. I think like when they had Drew lose the title in front of his home crowd, I think that one was pretty shocking. But most of the time, it's like kind of play to favorites of like having it. I guess it would be annoying. I think Mim might be closer, but I'm gonna put it into annoying. Insider jokes and insults. Some of those references can be pretty good. I'm gonna put it in funny because some of them can be really good. It just kind of depends on who's doing it. Insulting the city that they're in is kind of this kind of cheap pop, and it's not always the greatest. Some of them, like when The Rock was in Memphis, I thought was pretty funny. Um, and like I think when they were in Arizona, that was pretty good. But it's The Rock. Like The Rock's going to be able to succeed in that. I think other people's is just not the greatest. Interference in general, I think is pretty decent. I hate the ones where they pull the ref out because like that would just be a disqualification. So that part is annoying, but I think in general it is a pretty good fun aspect to change up the match. Interruptions, those could be really good, especially like when Roman Reigns came down and LA Knight interrupted him with having his music playing when they did that contract signing. See, that was great for the contract signing. So maybe I should be less harsh on it, but yeah, I think it's still pretty good. Kicking out of a finisher is always great, especially when you really think it's going to be cemented. Now there's finisher fest where like they're hitting multiple, but if it's like your first one, and a long match where like they're going back and forth with everything, and then somebody finally gets off their finisher and then they kick out, that could be it works. It really works, especially when you really think the other person's gonna win. Money in the Bank cash-ins are great. I mean, I think we always look forward to those. Is that better? Yeah. Wait. Yeah. I'll do it this way because it's blocking up a little bit. Music segments. Not a big fan of them. I can't think of any in particular I really like. I guess like they used to have like John Cena come out there. That wasn't that bad, but it's still not great. No selling. No selling is complicated because I think it does make them look really badass when you have a no sell, but it can be annoying when it's just like all the time. Like sometimes like Samoa Joe has that in AEW, but it's not always too big of a thing. I'm trying to think. I don't think it's definitely annoying. Put it in meh. It's kind of one of those things. Overselling done right is good, but overselling done wrong is very annoying. Someone put it in annoying because it is. It could be pretty bad. Some of where they like hit, bounce, fall out the ring, and all that. It's just nah. Passing the torch. Those moments are kind of sometimes a little bit of cringe. It really has to have a story that it fits. Like, but they're hated rivalries and they hate each other's guts. They have a match and it's like, this guy's great, and it doesn't always work for the characters, but they have to do it because it works. I'm gonna put it in annoying because it is sometimes done pretty badly. Sometimes it's done great, but I think overall I've never cared too much. Pulling apart a brawl. I think a brawl. Yes. I always think it's stupid. Like you would need a lot of people to do it, and like a lot of times they just make the wrestlers weak. Sometimes when it's like one dude that whole restrains them, or like a couple, like they really should have a lot of dudes like and a lot of security backing them up, and then like they'll run like push them back for 2 seconds, and they'll run around, and it's like, not the greatest. The ref bump, those are pretty annoying when they're out like cold and they just randomly wake up and go after them. It's kind of bad. When the ref ejects managers, uh, I, I don't think it's great. I don't think it really matters. I can't really think of a time where it was really like, oh, that's stupid, but I don't think it really needs to happen. Repeating matches, 50-50 booking. Repeating matches isn't necessarily a bad thing. If it's a good thing, you want multiple of it. Sometimes it feels like there could be other people that could step in there and it would be better. So I'll put it in mid because there has been times where they've overbooked certain people facing each other quite a bit. But other times, it's just right. Romance angles, I actually don't really have a problem with them. They could be fun. It just really depends on who it is. Some of them are just kind of like annoying because like the people in it is annoying, and I do think it's less about that. The screw job in general, I guess this is kind of a weird one because it's like, is it just the Montreal screw job? Because that would be very annoying if it's just that one. I don't know if there's any other ones in particular that are well known that just somebody got screwed on it, but I don't know. The shoot promos. I personally like that angle of like having it where it's almost like kayfabe, but um, they get they have to be sparing. They have to be sparing. Like if you get them all the time, or if it's your only thing, it could get annoying. But I think in general it's pretty good. Special guest referees. I've never cared too much for this stuff. Like their matches are pretty good, but it's like you're playing with a loaded deck. Sometimes like I'm thinking like the one that like John Cena was a ref a while back for that match. He was pretty impartial and stuff, and I think overall like it could work. So I'm gonna put it in meh. Stealing catchphrases, that is pretty good to turn it back on somebody. I think it could definitely work. As long as it's not overdone, again, it is pretty good. It was like, not even stealing catchphrases. I remember when Raw came to my hometown, they had the, like, the, or not hometown, to a town where I could see Raw, I guess is the best way to say it. But they had the Miz come out dressed like LA Knight and like did his whole thing, and that was pretty funny. Sus moments are funny. I mean, the double entendre of whatever's going on is pretty funny. Sus promos, I guess it kind of is similar. I'll probably just put promos in it because I feel like it's not as much as like if just random stuff happening, especially if it's in the background or something. Table spots, I'm always gonna be a table spots guy. I like seeing somebody go through a table. Tag team split ups can, depending on what they're going, could be really fun. And that's my wrestling trope pet peeves. I mean, there's, it's all over the place. I guess these all kind of have a lot of things. Tell me what you guys hate and like in wrestling, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.